Hello everyone and welcome to Impact T3 Impact. I can't believe we're T3 Impact already and we're in 2021. But this is part of the Impact program and it's an enjoyable part, an opportunity for you, the audience, to liaise and talk directly to industry, our industry stakeholders, and any question you would like answered about professional life, about employment, about their opinion, feel free to send in via chat, send in your messages and send in your questions, and hopefully we'll be able to, our industry guests will be able to answer them. So welcome again. One housekeeping note. We would like, I've had a request that we have our cameras off, bar the speakers obviously, but those audience members that are joining us, if you are participating, please turn off your camera just to make the system a little bit easier. So that's just a quick housekeeping note. We know who you are, but that will keep our speakers on screen. So again, feel free to ask questions at any time, and we'd be more, and I'm sure the industry speakers will be more than happy to answer those questions. So today, T3, Impact, again, Impact, we love Impact. The showcase day, week 12 of every trimester. I know the students who have presented so far are very excited to hear the announcements that are coming after this session, so stay tuned with our new Executive Dean, Professor Michael Clements, who will announce those winners for T3 Impact. But this is our session, our beloved session, and joining us today, and there are a few familiar faces from last trimester because they were such big hits, and I've learnt something. I've had some field intelligence swung my way with someone who does archery, I think I heard along the way. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to identify that person. I'll let them say something about that. But joining me today is Tricia Bayog from CareerDC. We've got Miqdad Hassan, who is the MD of CareerDC, and our big hit from last trimester, as equally Tricia was, and Miqdad, but Amee Karat from DIGITALENT is also joining us. So what we might do is do a quick round of intros for those who are joining us for the first time. So we'll head over to Tricia and we'll get to know Tricia a little bit more in the next couple of minutes. So Tricia, come in, Tricia.
Yep.
And,
okay. Yep. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hope you're all having a great day so far. My name is Tricia, and I work at CareerDC. My role is a human resource officer and an internship coordinator. My expertise are coordinating internship for students, building strong relationship with host companies, and supervising a small team of consultants. So I completed my studies of Bachelor of Business Management at University of Technology, Sydney in 2018. And ever since then, I've been working at CareerDC. And since I started at CareerDC, I found my passion into helping people into developing their career and furthering their potentials. So during work days, like a normal work day, my daily work would include updating CVs for students, doing some interview training, allocating tasks to our small team, assisting them in email writing and communicating with both students and host companies. And it's a great passion of mine to help people develop their career and also establish innovative strategies within our business and forwarding my own career growth. And that's it.
Well done, and it's good to see you again, Tricia.
Nice to
After
see
so long. I think we all were together back in October of 2020, that year that we'd all rather forget. But anyway, we've all moved on to 2021, and Miqdad, we'll hand it over to you.
My name is Miqdad. I'm the founder and CEO of CareerDC. CareerDC is an internship coordination company. We provide internship coordination services for our students. The topics that I can help you with, if you have any questions, you can ask me about topics such as work integrated learning, experiential learning, internships. I'm also interested in entrepreneurship, startups, and digital transformation because my background is in computer engineering. Thank you.
Thanks, Miqdad. And Amee, our, should I tell them? Should I tell our audience?
Yeah, sure.
Or should we? All right, so our famous archerist, we call it an archerist, don't we? So,
Archer. Yeah.
Yes, so if you think archery, an archery expert, that's where Amee comes in. So go on, I'll hand it over to you.
I prefer to, like, it's a huge passion, and it is turning into a profession, but my day job is I'm a recruitment consultant in IT, so technology space. I completed a diploma in network engineering in 2004, went on to live abroad and study linguistics, came back to Australia and didn't want to work with computers, but rather worked with people, and slid into IT recruitment. I've been a recruiter for almost 11 years now, or just actually 11 years. And I've always traditionally been focused on 360 recruitment, and that means me having to manage the client as well as my candidate relationships myself without any help. So, and on the side recently, I have been doing, I'm a professional archer. That means I compete and I get paid to do what I do. But that is, again, it's my part-time, it's my love, and I love what I do, and I do what I love at the same time. I work for DIGITALENT, a small consultancy that allows me that flexibility. We're like a probably team of 5 now, all 365 consultants, all experienced, and all of us worked together in the past. So yeah, that's me. And
did I hear horseback involved somewhere along the lines too?
Definitely, yep. We do horseback archery. So the competitive part is, it's a very fast-growing international ethno sport, and it involves horses and archery, both horsemanship and archery in one. So you have to be good at both.
Yes. All right. Well done. Okay. So we'll go on to key touch points. So topics of discussion today in this impact session will be workplace trends, changes and challenges in the 21st century workplace. Fundamentally, that will be the discussion, but we'll also incorporate millennial employment in that. So remember, if you've got any questions, any topics you want to raise, for the next hour or so, this is where you can ask those questions freely. Just type them in the chat, and then we'll have our industry experts address those questions for you. What are the challenges and barriers to women in business, innovation, technology and entrepreneurship? We'll talk about entrepreneurship as well, and IT engineering, a rapidly evolving fields. So what are the challenges and new opportunities that open up there? And also, what are the key skills to develop as innovators? So broadly, they're the discussion points, but remember you can bring in other topics too. Just type them in the chat and we'll get them answered. But also what we'll do, I think, as a starting point, because 2020 was such a significant year for all of us, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, that it did challenge us, the year, and it still continues to be that way, that maybe we'll talk about 2020 and the challenges that we faced in 2020, because the workplace has changed, and how we work has changed, and now we're in a new phase of the workforce. So maybe we'll hand it to Tricia, back to Tricia, because internships are a good starting point given the audience that we've got today. So internships, has 2020 affected? I recall back in October we were talking about this too, right in the heat of the moment, but of COVID. But things that have changed, Tricia, for you during 2020 professionally, and also, you know, with CareerDC?
Yep. So with CareerDC in 2020, we quickly made a decision in March to start working from home, since the pandemic started peaking. So I personally have not had experience in working from home, so it was a massive adjustment for me. So at the beginning it was really hard to keep myself engaged and motivated without having my team around me, because at CareerDC we definitely work in a team together and we give each other's opinion into specific situations. So that's probably one of the hardest part of it. Another one was figure out which online tools would work best for all of us in communicating with each other and communicating effectively and efficiently. For examples, when it comes to phone calls, sometimes if you're at work, you're on the phone and you need to speak to someone about a specific topic that came up on a phone call, you can just put the person on hold and speak to them, speak to your team about it and discuss them about it. But with this time, I have to make my own decision and just solve the problem at my own time, because it's hard for me to put the person on hold first and then speak to my other team through online. So that was probably one of the hardest part. When it comes to internships, the opportunities definitely became limited for students. So it was a little struggle at the beginning to manage the student and let them understand that everyone is going through the same thing. We're all in a pandemic, so all businesses are struggling. So we had to manage our student and make them understand the situation.
Amee, how about for you, 2020?
2020 was a year of, I think, challenges in regard from a standpoint of work. DIGITALENT has a work from home policy from day one. We've always worked from home, but the thing what we did is we launched a new product, and because what we found is that interviews are very difficult. They're becoming very difficult to do face to face. And what we did for our clients is we figured out a synergy model where we do the first interview for the clients. It's recorded and we get the time-stamped questions and basically send them a first interview between us and the candidate. And that really worked wonders for a lot of people, purely because there's oftentimes logistical nightmare to get 3 or 4 people who used to be basically living in an office or working in an office at one time. It was very easy to get people in one room. Now all of a sudden, because we all work from home, we all got to go pick up kids and different priorities, it's hard to get all these people to interview this candidate. So what we do is just do a recording and send a link, and everybody can watch that recording at their own time. So the key to any challenge is finding a way to overcome it, and not overcome it, but own it. And when you own it, you've got a massive success. So a lot of our clients now swear by this product and they don't want to go back. We just placed a junior guy in Melbourne for a cybersecurity role. And I'm not sure, Miqdad, I think it came even from you. I need to give you a heads up on that. But he sent me a CV, one thing led to another. They interviewed him purely on video. They hired him from video. So the first time that they met was the first day when he went into the office. So people are getting used to judging the others' characters. They're getting really, it's becoming a norm. The whole video thing is becoming a norm, and people are accustomed to it just as much as you mentioned earlier. They are accustomed to face masks. It's just a new way of working.
Miqdad, what are your thoughts?
The challenges we faced in 2020, one of them was how to take the team remote efficiently, which Tricia already talked about, so I'll not talk about this one because it would be the same. I think the other issue we were having with the students, they were used to meeting with the host companies on site, going to the office, including the MIT students. And we managed to build a platform quickly within a couple of months to do basically project management for interns and students. And that worked really well. So we managed to actually take higher volume in July of students and projects because we used a very efficient platform, and we had to do a lot of education about tools with our host companies, or what type of tools to use. So I think it was a very good learning experience. The other thing is that the lockdown times were tough on us as a business because, but you know, thanks to Tricia and the team, everyone was very cooperative, and we've done our best and we pushed through it. I think if for any company, if we put the team first, we will always have a way to go through hard times, and we managed. So it was we managed to go through the challenges.
Looking ahead, 2021, what's your outlook on 2021, each of you?
I think, to be on the safe side, we try to continue working remote now. We try, most of the internships we are organizing are online. What we're looking for is that I look at the future in 3 words. The future is remote, distributed, and digital. Remote, we want to promote remote work because it's the future. People can work from anywhere without any problem. The future is distributed. People will have the ability to work within teams regardless of their geographic locations. I think you know, this is a trend that's happening, and it will continue to happen. Companies will not be bound by their geographic locations in hiring, and we encourage students and graduates to look for opportunities everywhere, as long as it's working for them and their situation. And the third thing is digital. We're working a lot on digital transformation within the company, automation, and I think every company should be doing this. A lot of people in the engineering or technology industry would tell you that every company eventually is a software company. So we have to look at companies on how to make them more technological and automate as much as we can.
Tricia?
Yep. I think the year 2021 is a year for everyone to recover from what happened in 2020, learn from the challenges, and also adapt to the changes. So as Miqdad said, there's a lot of digital transformation and automation within the company. So I feel like this is the year where everyone can practice that and get used to it and adapt to the changes.
Amee?
Yeah, I agree with what Tricia and Miqdad said, with the fact that we're all going to heading towards, you know, becoming digital nomads, and all this remote work is becoming the new norm. It's the ones who are able to adapt and the ones who are able to communicate effectively using the tools that we use at the moment that are going to be really benefiting from that. Now, it's a very interesting topic that Miqdad said. He goes, we encourage our students to go beyond geographical borders. I would have never dreamed of recruiting outside of Sydney. If you ask, Australia for sure. And I'm working roles, you know, Cyprus, US, and that has opened completely different markets to me. On the other hand, it has also probably opened a lot more new competition for me of people who are smart enough to look at the world that way. So we need to, you know, think maybe 5 steps ahead, not just next year, but what's going to happen in the next 2 to 5 years in terms of the digital landscape, because it is going to change. You know, our jobs, you know, are going to get a lot more distributed, as Miqdad put it so eloquently. So yeah, definitely, it's a year of change and a year of adaptation.
And on those themes, it brings in a question that I would have of each of you. I'm thinking about students that are completing. Let's just say it's still the COVID era, and students are completing their studies, and some have finished their studies, and thinking of looking ahead, the theme of getting a job, or the topic of getting a job in 2021. What would you say to each of the MIT students that are joining today in the discussion or participating in the audience? What would you say to them about getting a job in 2021? What would your advice be there? Things have changed, we all acknowledge that, but what would so they're entering the workforce, what would your advice be there? Being a recruiter, what would your advice be? Because you'll see plenty of students and graduates coming through, and plenty of mistakes are being made. what are some of the mistakes that people are making? Hopefully MIT students in the audience can learn from others' mistakes, but what would you be saying to a 2020 graduate?
I think that even though we're using video technology and even though we're remote, I think your attitude is the thing that really shines. As a person who can't really put that, you can't really fill a page from a graduate of a CV, you know, that it's a big ask. You know, you should not have a CV longer than a page. And on that page, you're not going to put a whole lot of experience, I gather. But there are many ways that you can shine through your attitude, whether it's on a piece of page or if it's something a little bit different where you know, we live in a digital age. So what's stopping you from sending a video message to your next employer? Record a video message of yourself, why you're right for the job, to stand out. Why not? You know, there's no shame. You got to be brazen. You got to be out there. You got to, because that shows that you're willing to go beyond and above and beyond to land this position. And that's going to set you apart. So you got to think about, okay, we're all now level playing field. We all have a camera, a computer. How do I stand out? I can't wear different clothes. I can't do different things, but you'd be surprised at the amazing creativity that some people have when it comes to reaching out. You know, they record a video. You know what? They make a slide. They edit a sort of a kind of a play where they're one character and there's another character. Of course, they're going to get an interview. You are never going to, I will want to meet you just because of the effort that you put into something like that. So you cannot make it hard to say no. And the main thing, the main thing that makes employers makes it hard for them to say no to you is the amount of effort you put in. That is your gauge, nothing else. The amount of it's a formula. The more the effort, the less likely you're going to get a no. So if you put in the effort to get an audience with them, they've already liked you.
And for those participating, I'm looking at the list of participants. And remember, this is Impact Day, and many of you, many students have presented professional videos already, and they can use that. Would you say that would be a good starting point?
Absolutely.
To use that material for your project presentations?
Yeah, and edit it. Take snippets out. What makes me, why am I right for this job? Why do I want to work for you? And why do you want to hire me? And then go bang, bang, bang. Put little snippets. Be aware that not to have something boring and long. Make it fun. Make it kind of, it's cliche, but make it impactful.
Well, that's what the day is always all about, impact and impactful. Okay, Tricia?
Yep, so I'll maybe touch base on like one of the common mistakes that a lot of students have when it comes to like after they graduated, their expectations maybe of like a traditional workplace or a traditional internship. I think they kind of have to get rid of that notion in their mind and that idea, and they need to be open to the company offering them something new, like for example, like working from home or hybrid or all the digital transformation. I think we just need to get rid of the idea of just being in a traditional office and that's the only way that I can learn and I can gain professional experience. You have to be open to online opportunities and experiencing even in different cultures or different, for example, there's an offer for you in the US, but you're only focused on getting a local experience in Australia. I think it's good to be open to all the experiences that a company can offer. So open-mindedness is probably one of the most important things in applying for a job.
How important are virtual internships? I think we covered this last time in the last Impact event, but virtual internships and their worth. And another question would be, and Amee or Dad, you might want to contribute, I saw this article the other day about grammar, in job applications about the importance of spelling. Amee has got a smile on his face. So spelling as well. So virtual internships is a topic, but also bringing in, and we can draw that in to the discussion about the importance of correct spelling. Does it matter? Does it not matter in job applications? Do people not employers not worry about that sort of thing? Your thoughts?
I would probably say it definitely matters. Grammar is everything. It just, again, goes back to effort. If you haven't done the effort to go and spell check whatever you're sending me, it just goes to show how important it is to you. You're starting off on the wrong foot. Having said that, often, you know, you'd have a communication with a hiring guy, whoever it is, if it's a recruiter or a manager. We live in a digital age. You may put in a smiley or LOL or whatever. That's fine. That's not a problem because it's on the fly. But if you're going to put together a document or an email or something that is, you know, more formal, then by all means, read over it. If you can't, get someone else to read over it. Make sure it's correct. Make sure it reads right. Make sure you're hitting the right notes, because your communication in today's age is the most paramount skill you're ever going to develop. You got to focus on that. And if you haven't developed it yet, then develop it and invest in it, because that's the thing that's really going to set you apart, is your ability to communicate without you being physically present.
Miqdad, the importance of spelling and grammar?
Well, I think I agree with Amee, and I think the students and graduates don't have an excuse like to make mistakes now with their spelling, because there are a lot of tools online that they can use. So even if English is not their first language, there are a lot of tools, and Tricia knows I talk about tools a lot. So for example, Grammarly is one of the tools that they can use for free, and it corrects their emails. It can actually be connected to their Chrome or their web browser, and it can check every email they want to send, and it's free. And there are a lot of other free tools that they can use to correct their language. So there are many. They just have to search and find ways to improve their writing, and it's possible.
And Tricia?
Yes, I most definitely agree. Your CV and the grammar of your CV will show as well how you pay attention to details, and this is one of the most important skills that a lot of employers look for.
Okay, on this, where are the jobs of today? Where are they? Students are completing, finishing studies, they're out in the workforce. Where are those elusive jobs? Where can they be found? Thoughts?
Are we talking about IT-wise?
Yes, it can be any industry, but because you're the expert in that space, Amee, so where are those jobs? Is it cybersecurity? Is it, you know, where are they? Students are looking, they've got strong competition, they've got to lift their game, and they're competing against increasing numbers. Where do they get a job?
Because we live in a world where now it's becoming less of an issue who you know, but what you know, especially in tech, certifications are starting to make a comeback for a lot of more junior candidates, but even senior ones. There's a lot of jobs in cyber development, anything software related. There's a lot. Obviously, we're all now online. We all work in an automated environment, a lot in automation. So when you're talking DevOps, you know, there's a massive need for more DevOps people to join the market. And DevOps is not very old. So getting into it right now is a great time to get into. Learning, you know, teaching yourself new skill set, like let's say you're coding in Python, etc. There's a lot of jobs out there. On the other hand, there's, you know, a lack of jobs in the traditional sense. You know, if you're looking at networking or sysadmin type or help desk type roles, there's less of them. Doesn't mean that there's none around, but there's still ample opportunities out there. And I think there is definitely now, of all times, a massive skill shortage. And if you are graduating now, it's a good time. Don't let the COVID situation make you think that you're not in a good place. You are really in demand as a candidate, as a graduate of MIT or any other respectable organization like that. You are in demand. All you got to do is have the right attitude, and people, you know, be able to be coachable and taught the right skills. That's the majority of hiring managers. They just want you to have the right attitude.
Tricia?
Yep. So maybe to answer the question, like where to look for jobs, maybe a good starting point as well is like having a good LinkedIn profile. I think that LinkedIn is very helpful when it comes to this. You can build your profile here and then even network with other people through LinkedIn. So you can just add people with the same interests as you, same industry and same sector. And this way you can network with them and find opportunities with them and engage with them as well. Definitely engaging in people's posts, even if you're not personally connected to them, that will widen your network and broaden your network.
Miqdad, thoughts?
I would say yes, network online. So LinkedIn, of course, as Tricia mentioned, and also trying to be part of different groups, especially that the graduate must be passionate about what they are doing. For example, if they are interested in certain technologies, there are a lot of groups online where they can go and meet with people. And now people have more time because they don't need to, they're working remotely. You can even have video calls with them one-on-ones. There's a new trend of one-on-one video calls for networking nowadays. For example, recently there's a new app called Lunch Club where you actually can sign up for the platform, and then you get matched using AI with other people that you could be interested in. So you can have 1 or 2 meetings a week and see how you go. You can get to meet people within the industry you're interested in. So there are a lot of opportunities to meet online, actually much more opportunities compared to before.
Yeah, and on that just gave me a thought. But those people, those students and graduates that are participating today, big news in terms of the Career Development Centre, where I sit, is our new career platform. And for those people, this is exactly what Miqdad and Amee and Tricia are talking about. Where to find the jobs? Well, you can find jobs. We have now got a new career development career portal, and we're a shared platform with Ribbit. So it's now called Ribbit, R-I-B-I-T. It's a co-branded career platform. That is now your new career portal. We have left Career Hub behind, and this is a very exciting adventure for us. There are paid internships in there currently. There are paid jobs in there as well, part-time, remote, Sydney-based, Melbourne-based, you name it, they're all in there. The platform was originally developed by the team at the CSIRO, and we have now, thankfully, MIT have supported the move to Ribbit. Jump on the MIT website. You can find them under quick links. You can find Ribbit under quick links, or go to the career development section under students and sign up. I would encourage you to sign up using your MIT details. And then within that platform, you can actually meet employers. It doesn't take you outside the platform. It's an all one-stop shop for careers. It's a fantastic portal, especially because those jobs are directly relevant to MIT courses. So engineering, cybersecurity is in there, you name it. Business courses, you name it. So batch Bs are in there. Digital marketing, I know there's a few jobs for digital marketers available right now in Ribbit. So go to the website and our website, MIT website, and click on quick links and find Ribbit or under career development, and that is a good starting point. A really, really contemporary approach to careers and support for MIT students and careers. So I should just touch on that because, and also those joining us today and participating in the audience, that you are the very first ones really to know about that. All right. So before everyone else, so quick, get in there and jump in, make a profile, sign up and get a job. So relevant to your area of study. So, okay. So how important is a good CV? How important is a good resume? Does it matter? Does a resume matter?
I'd probably say it depends on the industry. Traditionally it was your passport to getting an audience, or your passport to crossing that barrier to an interview. But now I think CV and LinkedIn profile, as Tricia put it very well, is of equal importance. I would even probably say that your LinkedIn presence is probably more important than your CV. And LinkedIn profile is exceedingly replacing the CV, which is an online kind of a digital version of your CV. So I would, if I was to put an emphasis on something, it would definitely be putting it more on LinkedIn. But CV is still, you know, it's an important document and it's part of who you are. The problem is we see a lot of people neglecting their LinkedIn and putting too much effort on their CV. But I would definitely recommend people to be more careful with their LinkedIn and associate the two, and because they're increasingly becoming one and not separate things.
And digital footprint as a whole?
As a whole, I think, look, it's a cultural thing. Some people are more reserved and they like to keep that distinction. They want to have a personal life and they want to keep that private. And others are very, you know, open and really candid about that. And I think the ones who are open are at an advantage. Because people are nosy, we love to know and dwell into people's lives. We want to know who you are. So everybody stalks everyone today, and everybody is going to type your name in Google and see what comes up. Everyone, like including whoever is looking at your CV, is going to always do that. So just be mindful of what's out there about you and make sure that, you know, it is relevant. And if you want to be private, you have every right to do so. We all do.
Tricia?
Yep. So maybe I'll just give some tips on how to improve on your CV. So with CV, make sure to just make it concise and direct. Highlight your main skills and your main experience. You actually don't need to put every experience that you have, maybe like from 10 years back. Like we don't need a 3-page CV. We just need a CV that would highlight your current skills and your knowledge. It would be great as well if you match up your experiences to what current job you are looking for. This would also highlight the current skills and knowledge that you have compared to the position that the company has available. Make sure that, for example, when you're writing your objective, try and relate this to the position that is advertised as well. That's also important. Maybe using some of the keywords that they use in that position, incorporating it to your CV. So that's another important thing. And yeah, like I said, just try to make it short and simple and highlight your strength in your CV.
Miqdad, your thoughts?
Yes, I would say the CV is still relevant. Making it simple and concise is very important, as Tricia said, and as Amee said. Both the CV and LinkedIn profile, they work together. You have to link the two, and you have to improve both at the same time whenever you have a new experience, whenever the student has a new course. So add to both, because they both work together. If someone applies and send their CV, the recruiter will look at their LinkedIn.
Okay, while you guys were talking, I was thinking about Amee being a recruiter, and I was thinking about interviews and when interviews go wrong. Amee, have you got any horror stories from interviewing people?
Oh boy, do I have horror stories. I'd rather not mention them. The reason is, I think the key is a lot of people go into an interview, and I know we're all coming from different social backgrounds, different situations, but I think one thing that people really appreciate and respect is people being human. And sometimes most of the time when interviews go wrong, it's because we try to be someone else, someone that we're not. So when you go into an interview, you should never be ashamed of who you are, no matter what. You know, you are you, and you are beautiful for being you. People wouldn't have interviewed you if they didn't have some sort of interest and if they didn't like you already. So by being more you, you're doing yourself a favor. And by being less you, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So if something went wrong, then be very concise and open about it and say, hey, I think we got off on the wrong foot. This isn't me. can we start again? Can I just tell you who I really am? And be very open. Carry your heart on a sleeve, and don't try to act, because people see through that.
Okay, another question. I have students raising this with me all the time, and when they apply for jobs, when they apply for the professional jobs, there's always a question. This is for international students, that the issue of visa always come up. Availability, working rights, visa. They apply for jobs, and then in the middle of the interview, everything goes well, and then bang, that question gets asked. And then pretty much it's all downhill from there. What would your advice be to international students that would face that question in an interview? How would they handle or manage that?
This is for me or for?
Yeah, any one of you.
So I would definitely address the visa issue early on. I wouldn't leave it for a later type. But generally, if it's a visa that it's a transferred visa and one of those type of visa that's a bridging visa into a perm visa or 2-year long visa, I would make the impact as least as possible and explain to the client in plain terms, hey, I've got full working rights. This is just a number. This visa class thing you see here, it's just a number. I'm just like anyone else. I can work full time, not a problem. But if you can't work full time and you disclose that from the client, well, that's partially on you for not being very clear. That's what I would say.
Yeah, Tricia, what would you say?
I would say definitely do your research beforehand on what your working rights are, or if you have, like, for example, limit on your specific hours. Because as far as I know, I think people are on student visa, they can only work a paid job for maximum of 20 hours per week. So make sure that you are aware of this and you know this, and you definitely have to clear this out to your employer beforehand.
Miqdad?
So I would say, yes, it is an issue for many students because, it does restrict the hours, but they shouldn't use it as an excuse. There are a lot of international students that can find part-time jobs if they are talented, if they are passionate about their studies and where they want to go. Graduates generally, I think master degree maybe get a 485 graduate visa with full rights. So although it's not permanent residency, but they can work full time. So although it is an issue, however, it shouldn't be an excuse. There are international students that find very good opportunities, and graduates as well.
Okay, I just want to bring up entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, starting out, entrepreneurship, the students, grads are interested. Your thoughts on entrepreneurship? Miqdad, we'll stick with you and we'll move around.
Sure. I think, of course, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Like, some people prefer to work in a job. However, there is an opportunity if you are interested now. Now is actually the best time to start a business. You can have a startup. You can build, even if you don't know about programming, you can use a no-code app. Like there are a lot of no-code apps, and you can build a platform within a couple of weeks and launch it. And Australia is a great place for entrepreneurship. You basically, a student, because they have working rights in Australia, although it's part-time, but they have the ability within 20 minutes to set up an ABN, and now officially they can run a business. They can register a domain name for like $7, and they can learn how to build an app and launch a platform for maybe $100 a month, and they can have their own startup. So it can't get better than this. This is the best time to start a business if someone is interested. And even if they're not interested in building a huge company, this is a good experience to have. If they are interested about anything, even if it's a hobby, they can start something. They can build a community. So it doesn't have to be about, building a company with a team and grow. But if they are passionate about something, this is the best time to start something about it, and at least build a community, or build a platform.
Yeah, and in the career development, we're talking about entrepreneurship, and now in the Career Development Centre content, which is now live on MIT's website, it actually has the relevant links to entrepreneurship and how to start them up. So how to start businesses and the relevant links to business, registration, avenues, all those sorts of things, registration links rather. So that's all there now, available to MIT students and graduates on all the relevant links to entrepreneur. There's a whole section, entire section devoted to entrepreneurship through career development content there. So jump in there. If entrepreneurship is for you, then follow and get encouraged by Miqdad and his thoughts. Amee.
I wholeheartedly agree with what Miqdad said, and it kudos to you if you do that, because no matter what, if you've gone on your own and had the initiative and had the guts and the grit to go and start something that wasn't there before, that will only give you brownie points on your achievements in your CV or anything, and it will automatically give you respect in the eyes of anyone who's interviewing you. So definitely great time, and there's no better time than now, because the younger you are, there's no fail, there's only learn, right? So if you go into this with an open mindset and not too worried about failing, then I think you've got way more to gain than you have to lose.
All right, Tricia, this brings the topic to you and on entrepreneurship and young women in business. So challenges of young women in business, and that can lead or complement the discussion about entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to knowledge and entrepreneurship, but I just would say, like, take that leap of faith. If this is your passion and you want to do it, don't think twice and just do it. When it comes to women in business, I think it's really great now to see a lot of equality of opportunities given to women nowadays. I think slowly organizations have been defying social expectations, and a lot of women are taking that risk and taking that challenge and proving to everyone that whatever men can do, women can also do. And maybe just the biggest challenge for us is just balancing our responsibilities, balance in the family and social life. But I think it's something that we can definitely work on. And I think that women can definitely do what they if they put their mind to it, women could definitely do it.
Your thoughts, Amee, on that topic?
I think if you're a woman today in IT, if anything, you have an advantage. There's a lot of companies out there trying to hire more women to make up for the discrepancy of the lack of women in IT and engineering in general. There's just a complete lack of it, and a lot of companies have equal working rights and everything else. So if anything, I think this is one of the best times to be a woman in IT, because there is just a lot of opportunities out there. If I see a woman's name on a CV, I jump on it immediately and I call, because I know how much how that makes them look a lot more attractive to a potential client, because of that today's forward-thinking type society where they're trying to equalize the playing field.
Miqdad?
I think there are a lot of opportunities for us as a company. We are 15 team members now. I think 1, 2, 3 males, or 4, 3. So the majority are females. So, and I think this is encouraging for women in business. There are a lot of opportunities available, and so it's a good time now.
Okay, all right, we shift to the two big words I always like to use: millennial employment. Millennial employment. What are your thoughts around that, Miqdad? Millennial employment. Keeping in mind the audience, the makeup of our audience, where that's a direct, they would like to hear something about that, I think.
I mean, the principles are the same. Like, for young people nowadays, the point is not to be distracted. There are a lot of areas, a lot of industries, a lot of opportunities at the same time. I think we live in a world of abundance of opportunities now, you know, and especially in a country like Australia. So I think the major point they should look into is to focus. Because there are too many options, too many industries, too many opportunities, too many different ways of working. So I think young people need to focus and know exactly what they want. How do they visualize? How do they see their future? And if they know where they want to go, they will find a way, because there is a way. So don't get distracted and focus on where you want to go. I think this is the most important point here.
And Tricia?
I think our generation today is more focused on career progression, more than settling maybe in a family like traditionally we would settle in when we were younger, but now we're focused more on our career progression and making it big in our career. So I definitely agree with what Miqdad said. Definitely your focus and knowing exactly what you want and where you want to go, and constantly just improving yourself, improving your skills, improving your knowledge, and just keeping that self-focus. Yeah.
Amee, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with both, especially about focus. But if you're going to get a new job, do not worry about money. Don't care about money. I know sometimes people have different situations. They got mouths to feed. I understand that. You need to find a mentor. You need to find the right manager. Do not worry about the company. Do not worry about the name. Look for the right mentor. If you can see this person, he or she is going to take you to the next level. Because mentorship is a big deal today. We live in a society that, you know, if you look at our demographics in Australia, we have what, a 70% or 80% divorce rate. There's a lot of kids with issues about they don't have a mentor in life. They cannot leave that gap unfilled, because that's human beings. That's how we've been always learning. Like since the beginning of humankind, we've always had mentors. Without a good mentor, you cannot make it. Not every, you can maybe list 1% of the population who have, but generally look for that right person that you feel you can learn from and can influence you in your path to whatever, how you define success. But the key is that when you interview with people, don't interview with the company. Interview with the person who's going to work with you. Interview with them for the sake of learning from them and becoming their, so to speak, apprentice.
Well, that reminds me, we have MIT has its very own mentoring program, and you would surely encourage students that to participate in that, given your thoughts, just what you just said.
Absolutely.
Participate in the mentoring program in MIT. It's a fantastic way of progressing and that additional support too. I have a question, and that is, in an interview, this question normally comes up and students say, how do I answer this question? And it's not about archery, it is about, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? How should students answer that question? Where does anyone can...
I would probably say, in any question like that, where do you see yourself or anything like that, I would definitely position yourself in a position of power. Any question that's put to you like that, take ownership of it. So don't say it's 5. Say, well, I don't calculate it by 5, but I look at it by 2 or 3. Okay? Immediately you've shifted the playing field. You're not going by their rules. You are saying, I've got control here. I'm calculating it by 2 or 3. I'm not doing 5. 5 is old. You can't, we're talking about the next year now. Now we're going to go back to months. So where I see myself is bang, 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 like this. But to answer that question, you need information. You need more questions. You know, any due diligence is to ask around and see where do they see the successful candidate in the next 6 months in this job. You need to preempt that answer. You need to do your research, because you got to put that research in the answer of your question, but whilst being true to yourself. Again, the moment you try to make stuff up to make it sound like you're giving them what they want to hear, sometimes they want you to rebel. Sometimes they want to see that side of you and say, you know what, I want to open a coffee shop. Doesn't matter. You know, you can be yourself. As long as you do your research on the, obviously you're there for not to make coffee, you're there to make, you know, software, for example. But what you want to do is you want to imbue your personal flavor to the already existing research you've done on where the candidate should be. And a good recruiter will help you with that, because they would already know what's expected in the career path of this position. Or if you do your, you know, due diligence and you ask all the right questions, you'd already know that.
We've only got a few minutes left. I'm watching the clock. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. But if anyone has got a quick question, type it in the chat. We'd be more than happy to address it. As I said, we've only got a few minutes left, but anything that we've talked about or any issue you want to raise, just pop it in the chat, send it to us, and we'll quickly address it before we head over to the announcement of the winners for Impact. Tricia, your thoughts about that discussion?
Yep.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I definitely agree with Amee. It would be good to align yourself to the company's goals as well. But of course, it has to be realistic and it has to be true to yourself. So as long as you show the company what growth and you want and what goals you have in the future, then I think it should be okay.
Miqdad?
Yeah, I don't even know if companies are still asking this question. I mean, I was asked this question 18 years ago when I was applying for a software testing role.
Your answer?
I don't remember. But I got the job. I got the job after 3 interviews. Yeah, so I don't even know. But I think what Amee said is very creative to actually answer it this way, if they still answer. I think the other thing, I received a message from Professor Monica at MIT. She asked about, in the chat, she asked about entrepreneurship. So can employees use entrepreneurial skills in their jobs? So if they have a job, they don't have to be entrepreneurs. And I would think definitely a lot of organizations are looking for people to innovate, you know, and find new ways to do things better, especially for young people. So if a young person finds a job, this is a great opportunity for the company, because the young person can bring new things that they didn't think of. For example, in our company, most of the consultants we have that work with us have started as interns. And during their internships, they came up with some really great ideas to start something new. You know, and for larger companies, they can even start new product lines. They can be a product manager, because basically a product manager is like an intrapreneur, you know, working on their own unit. So of course, yes, there are a lot of opportunities in this space.
All right, we've got 1.5 minutes left. So one quick question, the same one to each of you, and I'm sure the audience would love to hear the answers. One word to describe each of you. What's the one word that would best describe you? And Miqdad, I see you smiling. We'll take you first. One word. Not half a dozen, one.
Me?
Yes.
I think I try to be good at what I do.
All right, Tricia?
Maybe persistent.
Persistent, right? Because you know what, students are getting these questions in interviews, and I just thought we'd turn it around and let them hear how you would answer that specific question. And Amee, your answer to that, one word.
I have to say what my son called me recently. He gave me a nickname. He said the wise wizard.
Ah.
Wise.
I could actually see you at Hogwarts. Well, you've got archery. You could be the archery teacher. All right, on that note, it's good to see you all. Again, I know you were all a big hit last time, and hopefully this time. And again, another impact is over, but more importantly right now. So I'd like to thank each of you for participating. I always like this day when you guys are around, and I know the audience does love it too. I really do know that, and the comments made from the last one back in October, that there were very good comments flying from them, feedback from students. So it has gone 4 o'clock. I'll say goodbye to all of you.